about face. What is your mission?
To help organizations operate from their why, so that what? Will have a greater, more significant impact.
What areas do you serve?
Leadership development, sales, communication, relationship development, keynote speaking.
How will you serve us today?
Today, I will serve through referrals, sales, development.
Are you ready?
If you get ready, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. When most people think about sales, or when most people think about going into business, they think about autonomy. When most people go into business, they think about how much money they can make. When you go into business, you think about how much money you can make, then money becomes your motivator. See, when I started my business, it was not about how much money that I could make. It was about the difference that I could make. And see, here's the unwritten rule or unhidden truth when it comes to business. If you make a difference, you'll make money. There are 4 fundamentals of sales that you have to master in order to be effective at sales. Several years ago, I was on a sales call. And see, sales is a skill. And because I know sales is a skill, I go home and I practice what someone might say to me. So in the event that they ask me a question, I automatically know what I'm going to respond. So I was waiting. So I met with Miss Smith. And Miss Smith asked me the question that I had been waiting for someone to ask me for years. She said, "Why should I use your company?" I said, "Awesome." I said, "Awesome." Watch this response. I said, "Miss Smith, today's Monday. And if you have a problem with the system that I just sold you, you can call me on Tuesday. And I'm not satisfied, Miss Smith, until you're satisfied. Miss Smith, matter of fact, you can call me on Tuesday. And if you don't like the system that I sold you and you have a problem with what I sold you, you can call me on Tuesday, Miss Smith. And I am not satisfied until you are satisfied. Matter of fact, Miss Smith, you can call me on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And if you're not content with what I sold you, I am not happy unless you're satisfied. Matter of fact, Miss Smith, I am off on Saturdays. But if you got a problem with what I sold you, you can call me on Saturday. And I'm not happy until you're satisfied. Matter of fact, Ms. Smith, I got one other thing to say to you. If I don't work for the company anymore, and you give me a phone call, I'm going to make sure your problem is rectified. Because I'm not content unless you're content. Watch this next phrase. That's why you should buy from me. See, the unwritten rule or the hidden or the thing that's missing when it comes to sales, before you sell your products or services, you're selling you. And if people don't buy into you, they won't buy into your products or services. See, Ms. Smith was waiting for me to say, my company's been in business for 40 years. She was waiting for me to say that we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau. She was waiting for me to say that we're family owned. See, at the end of the day, everybody can say that. But see, what she doesn't have and what Ms. Smith don't understand is this. If you decide to go to another company, this is what you're missing. You don't get me. And that's what you get when you buy my services. You get me. And you can't duplicate that with another company. So there are 4 fundamentals in sales that we must consider to master. The first one is this. What is your value proposition? Why should someone buy insurance from State Farm? Why should someone use you? Why should someone use you? What is your value proposition? What makes you different? What differentiates you from other roofing companies? It can't be price. It has to be value. Here's the problem with most people value propositions. Most people value propositions are self-serving. Your value proposition cannot be self-serving. It has to be customer-serving. So here's Richard's value proposition to help you get what you want. Feel good about what you purchase and feel good about yourself. It has nothing to do with how much money I'm going to make. It has nothing to do with how much profit I'm going to make. It is all about how can I add value to the client. Because see, when a client is sitting in front of you, they don't care that you're trying to put your kid through college. When a client is sitting in front of you, they don't care about the child support you got to pay. They want to know one thing. How is what you're offering going to satisfy a need in my organization? So your value proposition cannot be self-serving. It has to be serving to the client. Number 2, what is the difference between price, cost, and value? 90% of all salespeople sell on price or cost. So several years ago, I got a phone call from Miss Smith. And Miss Smith said, I heard you were a speaker. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, I have this event coming up, and I want you to speak at this event. How much would you charge me? I said, well, Miss Smith, can I ask you a couple questions? She said, sure. I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? She said, well, I want you to talk about leadership development. I said, Miss Smith, that's right on my alley. I said, that's awesome. I said, Ms. Smith, how long would you like for me to speak for? She said, I want you to speak for 45 minutes. I said, Ms. Smith, that's right up my alley. I said, Ms. Smith, I got one other question. Can I ask you? She said, sure. I said, in Austin, there are 40,000 speakers. I said, are you looking for a speaker that's going to check a block? Or are you looking for someone that's going to come into your organization, add value to the participants, and when they leave, they say, value was added to me? Because those are two separate prices. Which price do you want? Watch this. Anytime you give someone a price or a cost before you establish value, your price and your cost will always be too high. You never lose a sale because of your price or your cost. Every sale is lost because you have not established value. I never have a price or a cost conversation with a client. It's always about value. So do you understand how you differentiate price, cost, and value? Number 3, what is your sales process? See, if you don't have a sales process, you can't duplicate it, nor can you teach it to someone else. So the first step of my sales process is rapport building. The second step is rapport building. The second step is discovery. The third step is decision. Getting the customer to make a decision after you've asked the right questions. And the fourth step is getting the customer to some type of agreement, whether it be another appointment, whether it be a sale, or a follow-up appointment after that. Rapport building, discovery, and discovery is where you ask questions. The person that asks the most questions is controlling the conversation. Discovery, rapport building, getting the customer to an agreement, then getting the customer to make a decision. And then the last step of my sales process is, at the end of your sales process, what do you do if you have to overcome opposition? It's called ECIR. The first thing I do is I empathize. The second thing I do is I clarify. The third thing I do is I isolate. And the fourth thing I do is respond. I'm a visitor host. You just came back to the visitor table and you say, I say, well, how do you like being out? You say, great. I said, can I ask any questions for you? You say, no. I said, are you in a position right now where I can help you grow your business? They said, yeah, I want to grow my business. What's preventing you today from allowing Richard to help you grow your business? She said, price. Empathize. I can understand that. I said, let me clarify what it is you're trying to say. What you're saying is the price is too high. She said, yeah. Let me isolate. So is that the only reason that you won't join BNI? She said, yes. We have PayPal. 6 months, no financing. Here's a contract. I say nothing after that point. Empathize, clarify, isolate, and respond. Those are the 5 things that we have to know in order to master sales. The first thing, again, number 1, you're selling you before you sell your product or service. So every time you step up and give a presentation, whether you know it or not, you're selling you. Every time you do a one-to-one, you're telling me whether or not to use your services or to refer you. Everything you do, you're selling you before you sell your products or services. Number 2, what is your value proposition? Why should someone use you versus using someone else? Number 3, can you define price, cost, and value? And number 4, what is your sales process? What is your sales process? And number 5, how can you overcome opposition? How do you overcome opposition? What I am looking for is this. I am looking for business owners who are in a position where they want to work on their business. So you got 2 choices as a business owner. You're going to either work in your business or you're going to work on your business. And when it comes to what I do, people that work in their business see what I do as an expense. People that are working on their business see what I do as an investment. I am looking for those business owners that are at a point in their life where they're ready to work on their business and they're tired of working in their business, because if you're working in it, you can't grow it to the level that it needs to grow. So some of the people that I'm looking to work for is insurance companies, because they've made insurance a commodity. I can teach them how insurance is not a commodity. You just have to approach it from a different perspective. Payroll companies, merchant services companies. If someone has a sales team of over 5 people, here's my promise. I can add value to them. And at the end of my training, if what I do is not different what you do, and you don't learn anything, then the training is actually free. I'm just that convinced on those 4 things that I just taught you. Once I teach them to someone and they buy into that, it's going to impact their bottom line. My name is Richard Hellen. I am a certified John Maxwell speaker, trainer, coach, and author. And friendly referrals, you've just been served.